Okay. Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner Classic Less Known Classics, episode number 1966 in Doubleshot number 1860. Yep. Oh, no, yeah. Anyways, okay, so we got two DC trades. Both of them are a limited series. And this first one started publishing last year and still published right now, so they basically decided to do this in 2 volumes. This is one of like the 24 limited series for Batman. Yes, seriously. It is written by Tom Taylor, and this limited series is 10 issues. 10. Do not know why it's 10, it is. Why the heck does Batman have limited series last this freaking long? Do not know. Well, actually, I do know why. Cha-ching! Batman sells. That's the other reason why. Well, technically, this is an ultra version, not only Batman per se, but of pretty much a lot of DC characters. We have The Dark Knight of Steel Volume 1, written by Tom Taylor. Not a bad choice. I think this is actually one of 3 books he's writing now for DC. The one is soon to be canceled. You have this book, you have Nightwing, and Superboy, Son of Kal-El, which is going to be continuing their limited series. Now, in this alternate universe, the DC heroes are in medieval times. Well, the elves apparently arrived in medieval times and had Kal-El on Earth. And this big confusion is really to Batman here, where he's able to survive an explosion, apparently no problem, and apparently he's affected by kryptonite. And the thing is, apparently he's actually the son of the previous rulers, who actually were his parents. What happened to them? Oh, by the way, Lex will just briefly appear in the series as a trickster advisor, who basically is told by Jor-El about a volcano exploded nearby. Yes, a volcano in medieval times. And the thing is, like, what are you talking about? I thought I sent you the warning. We never received it. Lex. And he's banished. And he's not really a big part here. Harley Quinn is, well, a court jester, who also happens to be in a relationship with the Queen of the Forest, who just happens to be Poison Ivy. This makes total sense because it's Ivy. Now, Jor-El himself is actually killed at the start of the series by a green arrow. And there's also this mysterious guy with a ring. I'm presuming this is Hal Jordan, though they don't really say who it is. Yeah, and for some reason, Green Arrow is given a futuristic bow for some reason. This was in medieval times. And yet, this is a bow currently. Now, I'm not sure if this was the artist's fault, who is Yasin Perry Bengal. Like, here's if I can find the page here. Oh yeah, by the way, Black Canary exists in this world. And she's a siren. Well, heard it was a banshee. Now, the bow itself, I'm not sure if they took inspiration from his current bow. And then, of course, Jor-El was killed in the first issue. And every time I investigate who killed him, it was obvious it was Green Arrow. And also, apparently, there's also King of Storms, where John Constantine is an advisor to the king, who happens to be Jefferson Pierce, a.k.a. Black Lightning. His daughters are here as princesses. Apparently he's got a son, too, named Jacob. Which, fun fact, in the regular universe, he never had a kid. Oh, by the way, seeing John Constantine smoking? Yeah, that's nothing unusual. Yeah, don't see anything unusual about that. Also, it's revealed in the series that John Constantine's full-blown gay. They don't really go into... Apparently, it's revealed that he's actually in love with Jefferson Pierce. Oh, yeah, and by the way, Amanda Waller is here, too. You're probably curious. Suicide Squad here? No mention of them. She's just basically a general works them. So, Wonder Woman is here, too. And it's Amazon Island, which looks like a sort of a modern city for some reason, despite the fact it normally doesn't look like this. And also, here's the thing. Wonder Woman is a full-blown lesbian because apparently she's in a relationship with this world's version of Supergirl. And her name is Zira. Now, they do make a slight change with her. Aside from the fact that she's basically in a lesbian relationship with Wonder Woman, she also is not Kal-El's cousin in this continuity. She's actually his sister. Why the heck this is, I don't know. Also, they apparently show these people themselves, aside from the art of Green Arrow. We apparently have a version of the Flash, Blue Devil, yes, Blue Devil. The boy with the wings, I'm not sure who that's supposed to be. I think this is supposed to be a version of Killer Croc. This guy here, Lagoon Boy maybe. Obviously, take the chip. Yeah, and I like Bruce's reaction. Shut up, monkey. It's just so funny. Yeah, and then of course, then we have apparently Zara apparently just going to... Oh, actually, her name is Zala. Who apparently goes and kills Jacob. And then later on, she kills basically Jacob's father, Jefferson Pierce. Oh yeah, and by the way, Jimmy also exists here, except he's like someone who's like, he's like an astronomer, basically what he is. And the Robins. They mention the Robins here are just... The only ones they confirm in here are just Tim Drake and Dick Grayson. That's it. There's no mention of Jason Todd. I think Seth Brown does exist in this continuity as a knight. Yes. Yes. So... Yeah, then of course he's of course yeah, Joseph Bruce got killed. Now, for some reason, and I'm not really... Oh, but by the way, Alfred's here too, who's basically like Bruce's like bodyguard, whatever. Now, the thing is, he apparently is like their kryptonite. Do not know the reason for this. They kind of explain that possibly he might not... That basically who he really is kind of weird. It's not exactly fully explained here, per se. So basically... Superman and Batman are basically raised as brothers. Yep. Oh, by the way, this is what Poison looks like in this continuity, which makes total sense for him to do that. Oh, yeah, and also Tim Drake apparently is one of the Robins. Apparently, instead of being Batman's sidekick, there is spies. That's simply put basically what it is. And then basically after Batman gets transported to a farmland, he's banished by Superman, he apparently ends up at the farm of the Kents. Martha and Jonathan Kent to end the first half of the limited series. Well, actually, in one of the issues. Yeah. I gotta say, for the start of the series, it's really good. Tom does a great job building this world. And, well, just damn good here. Give this book a 9.5 out of 10. They didn't really explain what happened to the Waynes, per se. It's never really explained. Alright, next up it is by John Ridley. The Other Side of the DC Universe. Now, I should point out, though, this focuses on basically recapping history related to about 6 different characters. And here's something I find interesting about them. None of them are white. None of them. The first issue focuses on Black Lightning, where they basically kind of detail something related to his own comics, per se, like his own solo book. They'll mention when he tried one time to recruit the Justice League, which is really interesting. The Ring of his daughters. He's also started a list of several issues in the final issue of the miniseries. There's also one focus on Renee Montoya, which focuses a little bit on stuff of the 90s per se, but from a lot of her stuff, mostly it's from 52 and Gotham Central. Now, in the case of issue 2, which focuses on Mal Duncan and Karen Beecham, aka Bumblebee, they go on a lot in Teen Titans history, mostly from the 60s, well, late 60s, and a little bit new Teen Titans era. They do confirm in this issue, because it was implied during the Marvel Hope and George Perez when Deathstroke did this, it was implied Deathstroke slept with Tara. Here, yeah, he did. He basically raped her. Yep, John Ridley confirmed that Deathstroke, the awesome Deathstroke, is a freaking rapist. Well... do manipulation. He didn't force himself on. He basically manipulated her to sleep with him. Yes, slept with a 15-year-old girl. And you wonder why this guy's not in jail for statutory rape. Yeah, I don't know why the heck he did that for. There's also a focus on Katana, which I love the Katana issue. Focus on some of the outsiders. There's mention here about Death of Superman, the 90s run for the outsiders, which I'm glad they brought that up in here. Now, in the case of Alyssa, most of it for her is mostly from the Joe Winter run for outsiders, along with Chuck Dixon, and I think a little bit with Period Tomasi, and that's it for her. It's mostly all about it's all basically stuff related to the outsiders. And what exception would happen with that couple, Mal Duncan and Karen Beecham, a lot of this has mostly been pretty much canon. It's mostly put basically, this whole series is just basically a recap. It's just telling a history of each of these characters from their point of view, like referencing various comic books. Like, in the case of Black Lightning, it's his own solo books. Now, they do basically deal years in this book. Yes, years. Let me do something quickly, because somebody's going to be really curious basically where I'm at. Okay. So, each of these now, in the case of Alyssa, from her, it's from 2003 to 2010. That's simply put what they focus for her. Now, in the case of Black Lightning, who is basically focused on the first issue, we also have Kasuma Kabakali in the artwork. Black Lightning is from 1972 to 1995. Yep, that's just pretty much basically what they focus for him. There is mention here about John Stewart, which, yeah, gotta appreciate the fact they brought up him. But mostly put for him, it's like a lot of his history mixed with a little bit few others. Stuff with tea. Now, in the case of Mal Duncan and Karen Beecham, theirs is mostly from, of course, this is issue 2. It's the only couple of the miniseries. That's from 1970 to 1989. This is the whole thing related to, this is the issue they brought up the whole thing with Deathstroke, where they confirmed that he's a full-blown rapist. Yes, the awesome Deathstroke is a full-blown rapist. Thank you, John Ridley. Yeah, do not know why. In the case of Katana, for her, they also focus a little bit here about to mention the outsiders, which is awesome, the fact they're of the outsiders. And of course, let's see if I can find it here. We'll find the right page here. Let's see. For Katana, it's basically from 1983 to 1986. And also in the present day story, she's wearing her costume from the movie. Yes, for some reason they went with this attire. Now, the thing is, prior to the Flash reboot, she was actually wearing this attire right here. That was her original New 52 attire right here. You're probably thinking, which one of these outfits was her debut look? It was actually this one. That was her debut look right there. She went through very different costumes. But I love the Katana issue. It's really good. I love the fact they brought up, like I said. Now, in the case of Renee Montoya, for her, it is mostly from, get this, 1992 to 2007. That's simply put basically what they cover for her. And like I just mentioned, they mostly focus on Gotham Central and 52 series. That's and a little bit from the Detective Comics, but mostly focused on that, which I thought would be so awesome. And you might be thinking, did they cover anything else besides that? Not really. Just mostly in with her becoming the Question. Now, Alyssa, I thought was from 2007, was actually wrong. So, from 1981 to 2010. Now, Alyssa herself is simply put a retcon character originally, because she first appeared in the first issue of Outsiders by Joe Winnick. She did not appear in the 80s. Most of it's her telling from her perspective when she was in high school. And of course, this is the outfit she wore when she was part of the Outsiders. Yeah. And of course talks about her relationship with Grace, which basically, in my opinion, was actually a really smart idea, because I had no issue with it at all. basically both Grace and Alyssa being a lesbian couple. It was perfectly fine. It was natural, something that they built up for a while. Mostly in the last year of the comic, mostly. But I found the relationship quite interesting, and I'm glad that the other writers continued it. Despite the fact currently the current continuity, the daughters are missing for no apparent reason. They're just not around. Don't know why. Grace herself is not even seen at all. By the way, Grace is from a distant tribe of Amazons. She's basically from the Batha tribe. They basically worship the Greek god. They worship the Egyptians, and they're basically heavily influenced by technology. Yeah. Well, in the case of this book, with the exception of that controversial thing, now I think it's very controversial for issue number 2. It's a really good series. If you're thinking, ask me this: what is my personal favorite issue of the whole series? It's issue 4. I love issue 4 because it's all about Renee Montoya. Great character. I would say a close second is probably between the Black Lightning issue and Katana. I would say just below that one would be the Alyssa one. And below that would be the Mal Duncan and Karen Beecham issue, which was issue 2. It's not a terrible issue per se, just that very dumb retcon. Where they basically revealed, oh yeah, definitely confirmed. Yep, but this, really good. Despite the stupid retcon with Deathstroke, I am going to give the issue itself I'm going to give it roughly a 9.5 out of 10. It's a good series. I'm not giving it a full 10 because of that controversial retcon. Yeah, sad to say. But that's going to be pretty much it for Cyclo Review. Stay tuned for later on. My review for, if I get a chance to do it tonight, Uzi Chan wants to hang out. First episode, season 2. Yep. Next video. Bye.